Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today we're taking a look at Pentaquark, a solo card game designed by Mike Mullins and brought to us by Button Shy Games. If you don't know who Button Shy Games are, they're a really cool company that are putting out these small 18-card games. And they come to you in these small wallets, just like this. Pentaquark is a fun game that's based on quantum science, where we're using a particle collider in the hopes of finding 5 unique quarks in a group known as a pentaquark. Join me for a playthrough, and I'll come back here and let you know what I think. As I mentioned in the introduction, the game of Pentaquark consists of 18 cards, 15 quark cards, and 3 annihilate cards. To begin setup, I'll put the annihilate cards off to the side. The quark cards have 2 unique features, a color and a flavor. And on the back of each card is the anti-color and the anti-flavor. So for example, we have a blue down, on the back is anti-blue, anti-down. Or a red bottom, on the back would be anti-red, anti-bottom. So to continue setup, we'll shuffle these cards. And then we'll split them about halfway and flip half of them over and shuffle again. This forms our quark deck for the game. The goal of Pentaquark is to manipulate these quark cards through our collider into the background and into our detector to ultimately collect 5 unique quarks in the detector, making up what is known as the Pentaquark. Looking at the rulebook, we can see exactly what's needed. Those 5 quarks should be up, up, down, charm, and anti-charm. And again, those 5 quarks need to be a red, a green, a blue, and then a pair of any color and its anti-color. I saw a good post on the internet that helps things out a little bit. It helps if we think about it this way. We can look for an up, a down, and an anti-charm in one color, an up in a second color, and a charm in a third color. For example, if we had a red up, a red down, an anti-red anti-charm, a green up, and a blue charm, we would win the game. Now I could try and explain the game now before we get started, but I think it'll be very helpful if we sort of play through the game as I explain the rules so you can see exactly what I mean. To start, I'm going to put out 3 cards into the collider from my quark deck. It's worth noting here that I can see the first card that will come out in the next turn, so that will help me plan during this turn. In each turn, we need to do 3 things, if possible. 1 card goes into the background, 1 card will go into the detector, and 1 card will be discarded. Why we do that is how we manipulate the cards to ultimately get those 5 cards into our detector. And the way that happens is, at the end of each round, different things will happen to the cards depending on where they are and in what state they are. In the background, if we have any free cards at the end of the round, that means any cards that are not in groups, those will be eliminated or annihilated and removed from the game. Otherwise, if those cards are in groups or confined, any confined groups in the background will be discarded for the next round. In the detector, any free cards that are not in groups will be discarded, and any cards that are confined into groups will remain in the detector for as long as we'd like them to. How do you confine a card? There are 2 different ways to confine cards. If we have a color and it's anti-color, for example blue and anti-blue, that's a group, that's a confined group, and that will, if it's in the detector, stay there, or in the background, be discarded at the end of the round. The other way we confine a group is if we have 1 of each color, red, blue, and green. That forms a group of 3 that acts in the exact same way. A few more things we want to be careful of. Any time that we have a flavor and its anti-flavor together in the same location, but not in a group, if this is a free card and this is a free card, up and anti-up will cancel each other out and they will be annihilated, removing them from the game. So it's very, very important that we avoid that at all costs. At the end of the round, the discard pile will be here. We will add 1 annihilate card to that pile, flip it over, and shuffle. So every round, all of the cards that have been discarded will flip over to be the opposite side of the card in the next round. That's very important when we're planning. I will explain the Annihilate cards in the second round as they come up. So for now, let's get started, and I'll talk you through everything I'm doing so you kind of understand what's happening. Again, remember, we need an up, up, down, charm, anti-charm. And the up, down, and anti-charm should all be the same color. So looking at these cards in front of me, I've got an anti-red, anti-up, a blue charm, and an anti-blue, anti-down. This is a tricky one because these are all pretty important cards. Remember, anything that goes in the background is in danger of being discarded. But I see coming up here I have a blue up. So if I put this anti-blue, anti-down here in the detector, I know that in the next round I'm going to have a blue and an anti-blue will confine. And confining cards in the background will put them back into the discard, and I don't lose them from the game. So that's a safe decision for me to make. I also know that I don't need an anti-up in my detector for winning the game, but I do want the up. So if I'm going to put this down into my detector, I do need a charm anyway, and I'll put this into the discard so it will flip over in the next round and be more helpful. So then we deal 3 more cards. Alright, so we've got a blue up, an anti-red, anti-strange, and a red charm. Now I said this already, I want to put this here to protect that card so we don't lose it at the end of the round. So that's a decision that I've already made. Now we've got a couple different decisions that could be made here. I see a green is coming out. This green and this red and this blue could hold all of those cards. But if I have 3 charms in my detector, that's not going to help me so much. And I do eventually want an anti-charm of some color. So I think this might be strange. It might end up hurting me in the end. But I'm going to take this anti-red, anti-strange. It's not going to help me at all, but it might help me hold on to a red card that comes out later by confining the red card. And I'm going to discard this charm so that it might come back as an anti-charm in the next round. And then we'll deal out 3 more cards. Alright, so let's see what we've got here. A green charm, an anti-green, anti-up, and a red bottom. Now, bottoms and strange don't help me at all towards winning the game. They're only helpful in confining things. I could put this red on this anti-red, but strange and bottoms are both useless to me, so there's no reason I want to do that. So I'm going to put this bottom up here, because if I lose it, I don't care so much. We'll see what happens, but I'm not afraid that that's going to hurt me. Now, I could hold this green charm, or I could hold this anti-green, anti-up. Realistically, neither one of them is going to help a whole lot. I have seen a lot of red cards go through, so I haven't been counting cards, but we're getting pretty close to the end on red, so I don't know if I'm going to have another red to confine with this blue. But I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to put this green on this blue and throw this in a discard because I know if it flips I'll have an up in the next round, which will be helpful. So then 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's that red. I want that red in the next round to finish this confining. Alright, so here we have some interesting things happening. I've got this green down, which would only be helpful ultimately if I have an up down, or sorry, a green up and a green anti-charm to win the game. I see I have a red down coming as well, which I would like to focus on. If I put this anti-bottom here, we have a worse problem, because this anti-bottom and this bottom would both be unconfined or free quarks, and an anti-bottom bottom pair would annihilate themselves and be removed from the game. Then I'm down 2 cards. I don't want that to happen. This red's likely going to go away anyway, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to put this green up here. I guess those 2 are likely to go away anyway, but we'll see what happens. And then, I don't really need this green, but I'll keep it in circulation. This one potentially could hold that as a set. I don't think it's going to, but at least it'll go back in when it's done. Alright, so we lay out the last 3 cards. Red down, green strange, and anti-blue anti-strange. This is a unique or interesting grouping here. I'm going to take this red because I really want this red down. And I'm going to put it there to hold those. But I should do it in the right order. I don't know if I've been doing the right order, but I'm doing the right things every time. Anything I put at the top is going to get discarded for sure. I don't have any strange up there that's going to interact with this, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to put this up here. And then I, of course, like I said already, I'm going to put this here to confine that group. And then this one's going to go here. This is actually a little bit painful because I want to lose 3 cards this time. They're not important cards, but I'm going to lose them. So end of the round, let's check. In the background, these 3 are free. They're not confined in any way. Red, green, and anti-blue doesn't work. I would need red, green, blue. So these are actually all going to be annihilated, which is not great this early in the game to lose 3 cards. But none of those are super important, so we should be potentially okay. This blue anti-blue is confined. So confined cards in the background will go into the discard pile. And down here, this is confined. These are still free. I needed an anti-green to hold those. So these will automatically go into the discard pile. Now, if I want to, I could break this up and put something in there. But there's no real reason to do that. And later on, if I put something else in here, I can always rearrange these cards to form new confined groups. So I'm not really worried about holding onto those cards. I want those safe because the other thing I haven't mentioned yet are these annihilate cards. At the end of every round, I'm going to put one of these into the discard pile. When that annihilate card comes up in the collider, I have to immediately annihilate a free card either here or here. So if this is broken when that annihilate comes in, I'm going to lose something. So keeping them confined is keeping them safe potentially from this annihilate card. So to start the next round, we're going to take this stack, flip it over, and give it some good shuffles. Make sure it's nice and mixed. Alright. And then again, of course, we deal out 3 cards into the collider. Now already we see something interesting. I have an annihilate card coming up in the next round. That means I'm definitely annihilating something from these 3. And the only one I really want, or really am comfortable annihilating, is this. So I'm going to put that there. It's sort of giving me protection. Now, remember, to win the game I need an up, a down, and an anti-charm in the same color. Here's my red up. Here's my red down. If I put that there, I'm getting closer and closer to that end game. Condition, that gets discarded. Now, we deal out 3 cards. We have to start first with the annihilate. This annihilate says I have to annihilate a free card. Means this red up or this anti-green, anti-strange. Clearly I don't want to get rid of the red up. So the annihilate card goes into the discard pile. This is important because every round I'm adding an annihilate card. That means in future rounds we'll have multiple annihilate cards in the deck. So it gets more and more dangerous the longer the game goes on. And this card is going to be annihilated. So now we only have 2 cards. The anti-charm, anti-red, and the green up. Now this is where things get interesting. I need both of those cards. But if I could find a blue up, things would be okay. So I could take this card. Oh, you know what? That's fine. Because anti-red and red will confine. That makes a grouping. I'm safe. So let's do this. Remember, we have 3 cards, we take 3 actions. Now we only have 2 cards, we can only take 2 actions. But the order matters. So one will go here and one will go down, and nothing goes into the discard this turn. So the green card I'm going to put up. If I lose it, that's not great, but I really need this card. Because now I have my red down, my red up, and my red anti-charm. And I have both the blue and green charm. So right now, in this condition, all I need is a blue up card to win the game. So let's keep playing and see what happens. We draw 3 cards. Alright, here's where things get interesting. There's my blue up card, but it's an anti-blue anti-up, which is a problem. Because I need to flip it, means I can't get it until the next round. But I'm also afraid to lose this green up. I see there's a blue bottom coming. Means I want to aim for locking that so I don't lose the green up just in case I need it. I need this to flip, so I will take this blue down. And I'm going to put this blue up into my discard. And then we've only got 1 card left. It must go up. Remember, the order is up in the background, down in the detector, and then discard. So this one has to go here, but that's great because it confines these 3 cards. So end of the round, confined cards go here. Free cards down at the bottom go here. Yes, there's no reason not to do that. And I'm going to add 1 more Annihilate card. So now we're really, really hoping that I can get that blue up card. And we're going to start like this. We deal 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. We got lucky here. When we deal out these 3 cards, the Annihilate goes first. I don't have any free cards here. I don't have any free cards here. It means this Annihilate does nothing. Now, if we were playing the advanced version of the game, this Annihilate would annihilate one of these cards. But we're playing with the standard rules right now. That's not going to happen. So realistically, I don't really care about either of these cards. But let's get rid of the one that we don't really care about into the background. And I'll hold on to this one just in case. And we deal out 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. Well, we start with the Annihilate. It's going to annihilate something free. We might as well annihilate this. Good news is this. This card goes up. This card goes down. Now, if you want to, I'll rearrange this just so you can see how it works. At any time, you can change a confined grouping. So I can pull this blue out and put that one in. But it doesn't matter, because this would have been confined over here as well. But even more so, it doesn't matter, because this is endgame. We have up, up, down, charm, anti-charm. I have red, green, blue, and I have a red, anti-red. We've just won the game. I'll meet you back up top, and we'll talk a little bit about what I think of the game. So that's Pentaquark, designed by Mike Mullins, brought to you by Button Shy Games. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. Let's talk a little bit about what I think of this game. This one's got a bit of an interesting story. I've been playing a lot of Button Shy this summer and following along in the Discords. I recommend you join the Discords if you're not a member. If you like these games, it's a great community. Anyway, I've been hanging out and I found out a lot about these games. And I saw this one, it's a solo game. I thought, hey, I like solo games. Why not try it out? But the more I saw it, I wasn't all that thrilled with it. The theme kind of scared me off. It looked a little bit too much of a brainy, abstract puzzle for me. And I wasn't really going to go after it. But the opportunity came up in a trade for me to pick up a copy. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm a science teacher. Theme is kind of fun. Why not try it out? Can't hurt, right? I could always trade it away if I want to. Well, let me say, boy, am I glad I took that trade, because, man, I love this game. Yes, it's a brainy game, but I don't know if it's just me or if it really isn't as bad as it seems. But the pattern in this game and the thinking, the reasoning and the logic involved in this game really works for me. And I've been really, really enjoying it. It plays very quickly. It sets up very quickly. I mean, it's only 18 cards, so all of the Button Shy games are like that. But this one in particular, for me, plays through really great. So anytime I pick it up, I usually play it 2-3 times in a row. There are also a few expansions. I think 3 or 4 expansions for this game. I'm getting them. They're coming. They're on their way. I'm very excited to try them out and see what kind of twists they add to the game. When I do get them, I will report back and let you guys know what they're like, because I'm excited to try them, and I hope you are excited to find out about them as well. Beyond that, though, I don't really know what I can say about why I like the game. The artwork, we can look at the cards a little closer. The artwork's not bad. The colors are great, they pop. It's very easy to see what the symbols are, what the colors are. And everything's marked, obviously, with the words on the bottom, so if you're colorblind, there's no problems there. The artwork didn't immediately pull me in, but it certainly doesn't scare me off. They're nice-looking cards. So I don't have any real complaints about the game. Granted, if you don't really like the theme, and you're kind of worried about the puzzly bit of it, it might scare you off as well. But I would recommend you, if you like solo games, if you like quick games that play very smoothly and take very little time to set up and clean up, check out Pentaquark. It's a good one. I'll see you next time.